Great Blacks in Wax Museum. I'm John Carrington, and we had a wonderful time with the NAACP convention in downtown Baltimore. Yay, Baltimore! So we were on the spotlight in a very special and positive way. I had a wonderful time observing and seeing what's going on, and I hope you did too. And Baltimore is a mix of ethnic food, but especially African American foods. I enjoy food from the South that African Americans helped to devise and mix and create, but also love the Italian food. I love the Chinese food. Well, we're a mix of all ethnic groups. And of course, being a part of Maryland gives me a chance to share with the world what we so often take for granted. Well, this is Spotlight on the National Great Blacks in Wax Museum, and we're just inviting you to come back for more of what we have to share. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Something. Well, see, that's why I enjoy touring and learning about my hometown, Baltimore and Maryland. Hey, don't go anywhere. Be right back with more.
Our next two greeters are very special. And I need you delegates to give them a very special NAACP welcome. Number one, we are at home. Y'all don't sound like it. We're at home. Are you fired up? Yeah, let's go. First, Al Hutchinson, president of Visit Baltimore. This guy is exceptional. Visit Baltimore has been phenomenal. We started down this road 3 years ago. And I can tell you that we have never gotten a better deal from a convention bureau than we received from Visit Baltimore. Give him a warm NAACP welcome, and he will be followed by the president of the Baltimore branch, Ms. Tessa Hill Baston.
Good evening. So I'm Al Hutchinson, president and CEO of Visit Baltimore. And let me just say, we're so excited that you are with us. I'm honored to be here this evening in the esteemed company of our Senator Van Hollen, and also on behalf of the City of Baltimore, my colleague Peggy Didakis, who's the Executive Director of this venue you're in this evening, the Baltimore Convention Center, our hotel partners, and also the entire hospitality community. We're just honored to have you here with us today, and we're very excited about what's going to happen in the next few days here in Baltimore. You could not have picked a better city to come to for your 108th convention. And I just want you to know that Visit Baltimore is honored to be your host this week. And we're here to partner with the NAACP to make this your greatest convention ever. So I just want to say welcome to our great city of Baltimore. And as all of you all know, NAACP being the oldest and largest civil rights organization in this country. You all have done great work for all of us in America. And we feel very proud that you've selected Baltimore for this week. And we want you to know you got great work to do this week. So I want you to take that very seriously. We need you. We need you to keep fighting for all of us. But I would also say to you, in your downtime, when you have that, you need to go see this great city. You need to go out and visit the Black Wax Museum. You need to go out and see the Reginald Lewis Museum of Maryland for African American history and culture. Go see the National Aquarium. Go out to all of our great neighborhoods. See our great restaurants. See our great people, because that's what we are. We're a city of great, great people. So I applaud the board for having the confidence in this great city. We're going to show you well. We're going to make sure you have a great time in this city. And I just want to thank Tessa, who's going to come on in a second, because what you're going to see starting tomorrow, we have an open-air food court at the corner of Light and Pratt Street. And we've invited 15 of our African-American-owned restaurants to come downtown so you can experience that. Show those folks some love. We have great cuisine here other than Maryland Blue Crabs, which we're very proud of. But we have great food. So really support that effort. Do the work of your business here this week. But in closing, we're just very humbled and honored to be the backstop for this great conference. And as you leave Baltimore City in a few days, I just ask you a couple things. I ask you to leave this city in a better place than when you came here. And I also ask you, when you go back to your communities, you keep fighting for social justice. You keep fighting for economic justice to make this country the better place that it needs to be, and it's going to take all of us in this room to get there. So I'm humbled by it, and I just want to say welcome to Baltimore, and spend some money while you're here too, so have a good time. Thank you.
I'm Tessa Aston, president of the wonderful Baltimore City branch that has all the history that you've heard some of the other speakers talk about. I'm the first female president of the Baltimore branch since the wonderful Enola McMillan. And I've heard Mrs. Hazel Dukes talk about this a lot. She's the one that, Ms. McMillan is the one that got the National to move here. We have a lovely old building that she helped the Baltimore branch to secure over 50 years ago, so I'm very proud of that. First of all, I have been very, some of you know me, I'm one of you. I am the branch president. We have feet on the ground, so we're all the same, doing the hard work. I just want to say that I've been very passionate about getting this to Baltimore for a long time. It's because Baltimore is a great city. It has wonderful food and great history. And I would just like to thank my wonderful executive committee members. Please stand, Baltimore members. That's Baltimore right there. And the other thing that I would like to bring to your attention is that we have a wonderful Veterans Committee and chairperson, and the color guard that you saw today came from my branch as members. They're the post-19 American Legions under the leadership of my district commander, my chairperson, Stand Up Truesdale. He has put together a wonderful veterans group. And so I just want to thank everybody, and I would like to give special recognition to Ms. Aponte, who has helped me a lot. Everybody knows her, she's been around, so she's given me lots of advice. And so welcome to Baltimore. Now I know that the former speaker, Mr. Al, mentioned something that I want everybody to please go outside. I want you to be fired up and ready to eat. What we did in Baltimore, you know, even in your own city, sometimes it's hard to get people from the hotel district, the convention district, to spend money with African Americans. So what we did at the Baltimore branch, we went out, and one of my chairpersons that took the lead on this, Reggie Parker, he went out and spoke to all the black caterers, the black restaurants. Some of them are medium, some of them are small. And what we did is we invited them to come downtown with tents, picnic tables, and we're going to have live jazz, and it's about 15 of them. And when you walk out of this building, right across the street on a grassy area, starting tomorrow at 11 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you go outside and have a taste of Baltimore. Go outside and eat the food of Baltimore. So thank you so much. enjoyed, and I am so glad to be your host, and I am very happy, and thank all the board members for putting up with me and my passion. Thank you.
Hey, are you enjoying this? Being a part of Maryland is an opportunity to share with the world what we enjoy and take for granted. Everybody who comes to Baltimore says crab cakes, or they say steamed crabs, or they say Little Italy, Italian food, or they might say Ravens, Orioles. Well, we take all that for granted. We expect to be in the playoffs every year with the Ravens. We expect the Orioles to be in there somewhere slugging that ball and throwing those pitches. But you know something? Maryland is everybody's hometown.
I'm nuts about downtown Baltimore's West Side. Hello, I'm John Waters, and I'm proud to say that Baltimore has always been my home. It's the inspiration behind all my films, including Hairspray, Crybaby, Serial Mom, and A Dirty Shame. Let me tell you, there are not a more eccentric, monumental, eclectic, intriguing, and character-filled 28 blocks anywhere in the world, and I'm here to prove it to you. This is where Babe Ruth was born. They tell me he's the best baseball player ever. Not that I'd know. I'm more into theater. Like nearby Arena Players, the nation's longest continuously running African-American community theater. I'm also a big fan of century-old Antique Row, where New York dealers come to buy and later mark up their purchases sky high for their Manhattan buyers. On that same block sits the U.B. Blake National Jazz Institute, housing memorabilia from Baltimore jazz greats like Billie Holiday and, of course, U.B. himself. The West Side is also where the Maryland Historical Society calls home, with its many Baltimore artifacts, including the original manuscript of the Star-Spangled Banner and Nipper, the RCA dog. Oh, and the National Dentistry Museum, the only one of its kind in the U.S., is where George Washington's dentures live. And no, they were never wooden. And right in the middle of it all, as if just to add mystery and intrigue, sits the gravesite of Edgar Allan Poe, my kind of guy. Sometimes I go there to meditate. Now, the thing that defines Baltimore for many people around the world is right here also, our sports franchises, the Orioles and the Ravens, two birds that nest in the West. The Walters Art Museum is also known internationally, featuring an interactive experience exploring 55 centuries of art. A man named Gustav Krug worked at an ironworks foundry on Saratoga Street on the West Side way back in 1810, and it's still a working ironworks foundry today. 6th generation Krugs still work here. In Baltimore, we find a good place, we like to stick with it. Now contrast that with one of the world's most advanced operating room facilities just a couple blocks away at the University of Maryland Medical System. Get ill, get fixed, have an operation in high style. Know of a place where the Beatles, Al Roker, Mother Teresa, and P.T. Barnum all hung out? I'll tell you, the West Side of downtown Baltimore. Al Roker? He's done live shows at the world-famous Lexington Market, where you can shuck oysters and see some of the most amazing hairdos in town. The Beatles, Pavarotti, U2, you name them. They have played what used to be called the Civic Center, but is now called the First Mariner Arena. Aren't we grand? Mother Teresa, the Pope, and many presidents have all visited the Basilica of the Assumption, the first Roman Catholic cathedral in the United States. Photo ops, I assume. And as for P.T. Barnum, he, along with the likes of Cab Calloway, Chick Webb, Milton Berle, and a young, debuting Frank Sinatra, all performed at the world-famous Hippodrome Theater, one of the true cornerstones of the West Side. I saw Cleopatra there, and even shot parts of Cecil B. Demented outside before they fixed it up. The real story today, however, is how all that energy is coming back to the West Side, bigger, smarter, more fragrant, and more exciting than ever before. Major traveling Broadway shows like Phantom of the Opera and Disney's The Lion King, as well as events such as Russell Simmons' Deaf Poetry Jam and local community events now perform in Baltimore for the first time thanks to the Hippodrome Theater at the Franz Marek Performing Arts Center. The world-renowned University of Maryland has broken ground on a state-of-the-art biopark that puts the West Side on the global map as a major biotechnology hub. The Stewart's Building, once a thriving department store, is the very definition of an environmental-friendly green building. And don't let the facade fool you. This office and retail space is wired with the most high-tech, broadband infrastructure technology imaginable. And a luxury apartment building known as the Atrium at Market Center even has a direct connection to the university's main network. There are so many ongoing projects like Market Center West residential units, University of Maryland housing, plus an important redevelopment of an area called the Superblock, where local small business owners have been invited to partner with public and private entities to upgrade their properties. Everyone is playing a role in the renaissance of the West Side. Many major players have come to bat in this more than $1 billion revitalization of downtown's West Side, like Bank of America, who believes so much in this endeavor that it bought an entire city block to renovate and erect a mixed-use development called Centerpoint, offering nearly 400 residential units and 35,000 square feet of retail space. It's the total commitment of Governor Robert Ehrlich, Mayor Martin O'Malley, and all the legislators, along with the Baltimore Development Corporation and the 40-plus members of West Side Renaissance, led by Peter Angelos, that are ensuring the success of what the New York Times calls the largest revitalization plan of its kind in the country. And it's all happening in this one neighborhood called downtown Baltimore's West Side. Infectious, fashionable, full of vim and Baltimore vigor, I walk the West Side streets these days in amazement at what it's become. I'm nuts about downtown Baltimore's West Side. You will be, too.
Hey, I'm John Carrington, and welcome to another spotlight on the Great Blacks in Wax Museum. We have a special treat for you. Our brand new senator, Senator Chris Van Hollen, is featured in this segment. You're going to have a chance to see him in action and hear some of the fine things he has to say. So here we are, another spotlight on the Great Blacks in Wax Museum. Our feature is Chris Van Hollen, Senator Chris Van Hollen. All right, and you're going to have a chance to see Van Hollen in action at the NAACP convention in downtown Baltimore. So here it is. Enjoy.
I am pleased to introduce the Honorable Chris Van Hollen, United States Senator from the state of Maryland. Will Senator Hollen please come to the podium?
Thank you, Chairman Turner. Let's give it up for Chairman Turner and his leadership. I am very honored this evening to join with my fellow Marylanders to welcome you, the 108th National Convention of the NAACP, to Baltimore, Maryland. We are honored that you chose this city and state for this convention. Maryland, the proud birthplace of the American hero Frederick Douglass. Maryland, the proud birthplace of the American hero Harriet Tubman. And this great city of Baltimore, home to the longest running black family-owned newspaper in the country, the African American newspaper. And home to the late, great Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. And the current terrific member of Congress, Congressman Elijah Cummings. And let's give it up for our great Morgan State Choir you heard earlier today. And of course, Baltimore, Maryland, the headquarters for the NAACP. And it is thanks to the hard work of the NAACP over so many decades, combining with Allies for Justice, that we have made great progress for social justice in the United States of America. But as we take stock here, we know we've got a long distance still to go to meet the promise of equal rights and equal justice and equal opportunity in the United States of America. Indeed, as we're gathered here this evening, there are many around the country who seek to turn back the clock on the progress that we've made. Some who want to take a U-turn And we need to send a message loud and clear to Washington, D.C. and every corner of this country. We are not turning back the clock on social justice in the United States of America. We're not going back. In fact, we only know one direction, which is forward. That is the gear that we must engage. And we will fight every effort. We will fight every effort at the national level to cut the budget of the Department of Education in the United States of America, because we cannot rest until we have a school system where every child in every school in every neighborhood has a first-rate education. We cannot rest until we see that happen. And we must build a growing economy that works for every American in every neighborhood, small businesses, minority-owned businesses, rather than an economy that works great for the top 1% and leaves so many other people behind. That must be our charge. And of course, we must have quality, affordable, universal health care for every American. And that starts this week with defeating the effort to destroy Obamacare, to defeat the effort to turn back the Affordable Care Act. I don't care if you're talking about the House Bill number 1 or number 2 or Senate Bill number 1, 2, or 3 or Trump Care. All of them have the same rotten core. All of them would kick tens of millions of our fellow Americans off of affordable health care in order to give tax breaks to a powerful few. It is unconscionable, and we must defeat and bury that proposal. Make no mistake, they can call it health care. But if it's health care, why are all the doctors against it? All the nurses against it? All the hospitals against it? The American Cancer Society, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association. They're not Republicans or Democrats, but they're for our health, and they're all against it. So make no mistake, it's not health care, it's about wealth care, and we are going to make sure we do not go in that direction. And we need a justice system. We need a justice system that lives up to what is engraved above the entrance of the Supreme Court of the United States. Equal justice for all, for all. And as we're gathered here this evening, we know that Attorney General Jeff Sessions is working to roll back the clock on many important reforms put in place by President Obama, first under Attorney General Eric Holder, and then under Attorney General Loretta Lynch. And we must fight those efforts to turn back the clock with every ounce of strength we've got and say we are not going to let them drag us back. And to do that, the best way we can do that is if we get to these 2018 midterm elections, is to have everybody, and I mean everybody, turn up to the polls to vote. And we know they've got a couple tricks up their sleeves there. They've got this so-called Election Integrity Commission, right? Make no mistake, this commission has nothing to do with voter integrity. It has everything to do with trying to suppress the vote in the United States of America. We saw what North Carolina tried to do when they passed a law before the last election. A unanimous three-court panel on the U.S. Court of Appeals of the Fourth Circuit said it was intended to suppress the vote, and specifically said it was designed to suppress the votes of African Americans in North Carolina. No, we are not going back, and we're going to fight that tooth and nail. And by the way, this so-called Election Integrity Commission is headed by the king of voter suppression, a fellow by the name of Chris Kobach, the Secretary of Elections in the state of Kansas. So we got a lot of work to do, because we got to make sure that we don't go backwards and that we find a way, even in troubled times, to go forward. And that, of course, has been the story of the civil rights movement. And that is why it's so important that we have everybody get out and weigh in as citizens at the ballot box in this upcoming election. Ladies and gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, I believe that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was right when he said the arc of the moral universe may be long, but it bends towards justice. I believe that in my soul, but I also believe it is our work to try to make that arc bend faster and further. And it is our work to make sure that we continue down the path to build an ever more perfect union. That has been the work of the NAACP from its very start. And I want to thank all of you for being the heirs to that incredible tradition where we make sure that we uphold the trust of those who come before us and make sure that we not only prevent those who want to take us backwards, but that we come together and chart a course to make sure that we meet the full promise of America. Thank you to the NAACP. Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland.
Thank you, Senator Van Hollen.
Wow. Wasn't that great? Chris Van Hollen at the NAACP convention. Well, that's how we do on the Spotlight on the Great Blacks in Wax Museum. We want to make sure that you have something that's worth experiencing, but also worth remembering. We're going to be back with more of Spotlight on Great Blacks in Wax Museum in the future. So don't go anywhere. In fact, go somewhere, but come back. So until next time, I'm John Carrington, and see you around.
Nate Miles. The Reverend Keith Norman. Eric Peterson. Dr. Lonnie Randolph. Barbara Sapp Davis. Julia Felice Sessoms. Esther Silver Parker. Stephanie Silverman. Hilton O. Smith. John Spinato. Salois Steele. Dr. Michael R. Twyman. Roy Levy Williams. Kathleen Wilson Thompson. Shark Yusufi. Carol Young. President Circle. Henry Hank Aaron. Earl Graves Sr. Marilyn Evers Williams. Dr. Marcella Maxwell.